Go ahead.
Okay, let's go on to part two. You know what I mean? Even though some of y'all were talking about part two stuff, I won't name any names. Um,
I think we both
Holly.
were.
Holly,
y'all are
every
both,
time.
y'all are both
Jeez.
guilty. They started off talking about his Instagram followers. He asked him how does he have more money or more Instagram followers?
Piers Morgan is
Riveting
so
stuff.
annoying.
Riveting.
Piers Morgan with the hard hitting questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did say that football has changed a lot in these past years. He said it's more. There's some things that get a little bit lost in translation because he went to Juve and his English got worse. But
He admitted it too. He said he need to work on his English. I'm like, yeah, you do, dog. You sound crazy now.
I'm blaming them Northern Italians.
Yeah, me too.
But he said football changed a lot and it's become more like a business. He said that his partner Georgina says that they treat the players like they're pieces of meat. And he said that the game has become a lot more individualistic nowadays. What would you guys think about that?
I mean, I don't think it's entirely wrong. I feel like that could be said about maybe a lot of sports, but especially football because of how globalized it is and how popular it is worldwide. And like, everybody knows the big soccer players is like more than any other sport. So I don't, it's definitely a business and like it's a corrupt one at that for sure. Like all over the place. So I mean, I don't think he's entirely wrong there.
But like a little bit wrong.
Okay, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was a little cringe. Some of the social media conversations were a little weird, but just because I was like, "Here's Piers Morgan," we're just doing.
Caesar, you follow him too. You follow him.
You okay? But like, I don't. It's like started off with the what's
so you're
more
one of
money
those
in your
8 million
account?
people.
Yeah, I'm half of like the planet or whatever. Yeah, my numbers are good on that one, but no, like I just was like, I think that what he said is kind of what we've been saying for a while too, in terms of like players are treated like meatbags. I mean, I think that like what Cruz said is before too about the number of times players are playing per year. Me and Bam, I remember at one point when we started this podcast, we had also talked about our first Copa America, and there's been like 5 in like in 4 years because they had one year where they had like back to back, and that was supposed to be a 4-year tournament. So it's nuts now. It's absolutely about when they talked about the France final and the World Cup having 2.1 billion live watchers. That's literally like almost half the world's population we're talking about here. That's a huge number of people. And when they talked about contracts and TV going up in other sports like NFL, you knew that was going to happen the same thing in soccer, and you knew corruption was going to be tied behind it. There's all these documentaries coming out, which I haven't watched any of them because it's like, that's old news. Y'all been got here. This is old news about the corruption stuff. Yeah, so I'm not surprised about any of all. I think the game, they use the word passion and love and stuff like that for the game as a selling tool now, more than like real advocacy for like the play and the style. Now it's all about like selling things and the movement towards it. So yeah, the game's of course changed to like be like through so much capitalism. It's crazy now.
For sure. Yeah, I think like we can all agree with that sentiment. I wonder, like, Pierce didn't ask him like what the differences are. I don't know if he didn't ask him out of maybe Ronaldo wouldn't be able to articulate himself as much as he wants to in English, but I wish that point was pressed on more. Like I wish that Piers Morgan would ask him like, do you feel like they play too many games now and things like that? But he was just googly eyes over him the whole time.
Jesus Christ.
So then they talked about the kind of more recent controversies. They talked about the preseason situation, about him coming back late. He mentioned that his daughter had come down with bronchitis. I forgot how he pronounced it initially. That was kind of cute though. I think he said like brontosaurus. No, I'm joking.
Oh, man. Brachiosaurus is what he said.
But he said that she got bronchitis. She was in the hospital for a week in Mallorca. And then he mentioned that the Man U higher up, he said he felt like the Man U higher ups didn't really believe him that much. But before I asked you guys what you thought about that, I do want to mention that they showed a picture of his partner on the private jet with the baby, and she was wearing a Fila shirt. I think that might be the first Fila shirt to ever be on a private jet in Europe. But anyway, like, are they rocking Fila like that?
Yeah, I wear Fila's popped off, dog.
Okay, first of all,
It's kind of come back a little
Caesar,
bit.
Yeah, I got
you-
Fila. I'm wearing Fila.
first of all,
I have a Fila jacket right here.
Caesar, because you wear it, don't mean it's popping.
That means it's dripping now. I agree with one thing an Argentinian does, and that's his wife or whatever girlfriend. She knew what's up.
Okay, so Fila's coming because I was like, damn, we're in a
Fila's
Fila
back,
shirt?
dog. I seen somebody wearing Fila shoes yesterday at Marshalls.
Yeah, thank you, because I was like, did she get that Fila shirt at Marshalls and
Marshalls is like a acclaimed shoes company here, clothing company.
I don't think I have Marshalls out there, but
We have
but yeah,
Marshalls.
Yeah, Marshalls in Canada. Damn, they're
few.
too big. We got to tear them down.
But yeah, so he did mention that he felt like some of the higher ups didn't necessarily believe him. He didn't say it outright, but that was like a feeling he got.
Yeah, it seemed like he discussed that. Yeah, I think it was like one of those things where it didn't also seem like they were completely understanding because I think he always compares it to the Alex Ferguson when Ronaldo's dad was going through it and about to pass away. He's mentioned that Alex Ferguson was like, go take a week, take off. I mean, just please, we need you, but family's always going to come first. And I think that kind of stuff that resonated him for the rest of his life, and obviously built that relationship they have now. Is that moment and that precipice because his dad passed away. And I think that Ronaldo was hoping for that similar type of attitude when it came to his daughter. And when he didn't get that, I think that made him feel slighted. So it made him probably just believe like, oh, then you must think I'm lying. Then if you're gonna like basically kind of make punishments out of this or not believe me or make it weird, like, so I think that's why it's like it wasn't clear communication that they understood. So he just felt like that then they didn't believe him.
Yeah.
And you were saying too that it seemed like a toxic work environment in that case.
Yeah, I think absolutely. If you're in a situation where you're an employer, I mean, this resonates to anybody, and you're talking about a serious family issue, and your employer has an attitude of what they think you're trying to escape work. I think it's absolutely disgusting and extremely toxic environment, right? That there needs to be a separation of employment and life and family, and Ronaldo seemed to takes that very seriously. I mean, he's echoed that multiple times in interviews. So, and you would expect, with what's happened in his past, is literally when he was a Man U player before, that would be reciprocated and echoed again, and it didn't. So it's like that sounds like, y'all, this gotta kind of split ways. This is not bad. This is not a good situation to be in at all.
So then he got into some of the stuff I think that all of us will be somewhat critical about. He talked about the preseason match when he left early. He mentioned that, and I think we ended up finding out like a bunch of players left early. That wasn't really that big of a deal, but he said he did kind of regret it. But then he got into the Tottenham match where he didn't come on in the last 3 minutes, and he also left the bench. He said that he felt provoked by Erik ten Hag, and he mentioned that he was saying that Erik ten Hag doesn't have empathy, and he feels like Erik ten Hag doesn't respect him the way that he should, so Ronaldo doesn't respect him back. He did mention that he does regret leaving the stadium, but he said that the suspension was too long. I didn't think it was too long personally. Yeah, like what do you guys think about that part? Because that's when it started to get interesting too.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said before, I think he was right to get punished for it. Because at that point, like I don't, whether you start, whether you come on at any time, I think you should just play. Like it was like, what's wrong with, sure, nobody of his caliber wants to be playing for only 3 minutes, but I think that's just very immature of him to do. And the whole thing about being provoked, I don't know. I think
disagree.
that's more of a I think that's more of a him
Yeah.
That's hurting his ego, and I don't think that's Ten Hag provoking him in any sort of way or showing no empathy towards what had happened. Like maybe he did it in another situation, but I don't think that is necessarily him showing that. I just think it was pretty immature, and the punishment was deserved. Like I said, maybe not 3 matches, but like it
I think it was
definitely deserves something.
3 days.
Oh,
And he
three
missed the match.
days. Oh, it was the match. Yeah. Okay.
Um, I'm the first one to say that I hate when they do like extra time subs and stuff like that. I unless like someone's hurt or tired, like I hate seeing that. Like, someone coming in for a minute like that, that's rough. And I think Ronaldo was also having like a timeline issue when Piers Morgan was asking him about these questions. He seemed like he was a little confused on like which situation it was. Um,
Initially, yeah.
initially, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, when they brought up, I think, okay, like laying out Ronaldo's side, it's like, oh, like in a Man City game, I didn't play at all. And then you said, oh, it's 5-0, so you don't want to put me in out of respect. And Ronaldo said, yeah, but then you put me in 3 minutes left in this game. Like, where's the respect that you can feel that way? You're entitled to have whatever feelings you want, but how you act on them is what constitutes being immature or not. And how you acted on it was extremely immature. Like Ronaldo, you no matter what, at the end of the day, everybody knows this. I hate this as a player. Like we hate this. When you're called on, it's like you got to go up and get up and go, because that's another situation where you're setting an example. Because if you say no to him, what if Garnacho looks at that and be like, I'm not going on either. What the hell? Like that's what happens. It goes down the line. That sentiment is echoed. Like if I see my idol who's on the team acting that way too, I'm like, you know what, dude, he's right. I'm not coming on 3 minutes up. I'm way better than that. That's because you approach it in an egotistical way. Like it becomes about your ego. You need to lead by example. You can have a problem with this, address it afterwards. Come on to the game, give them the hard 3 minutes, get your runs out there. Then afterwards, be like, I did this because I care about the team, but I would really appreciate you show me respect by not doing that again. Everything can be handled afterwards.
Well, Caesar, the thing is too, like goals get scored in 3 minutes.
They do.
You know
and
what
he
I mean?
knows that out of anybody.
Yeah, like you got to strip your pride a little bit, because a lot can happen in 120 seconds or whatever.
I could sit here and joke and be like, shit, I wouldn't do either as a joke. But like in reality, when it's official, no, I'm going in there. You gotta go in there. You gotta go in there. Like, do I want to go in there? No. But am I gonna go in there? Absolutely. And you know why? Because when I'm in there, I'm gonna show like you're gonna regret not playing me this whole damn game. This is to show how dumb you are as a coach. Because then afterwards, if he scores, what's the conversation? Well, what's up with Ten Hag if he has this guy in the bench for 93 minutes and Ronaldo comes in and scoring 2 minutes? Like, clearly he's not doing his job in the technical aspect of it. He needs it's that's why I said I think the toxic work environment inflates your head. He even said a little bit like, oh, like I'm like playing different because everything going on mentally.
Yeah, the energy.
Yeah, the energy. Yeah. You're letting things get to your head out of immaturity, out of ego, out of frustrations that are building up. And like you can't be letting that happen, because that's not how you lead by example. Absolutely not the way at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, the substitute, the suspensions absolutely warranted, dog. He can't be doing that, man. It looks bad. And is that the game he walked out too? Like he just straight dipped also?
Yeah, he didn't come on and then he
not
left.
only did you didn't know to come on, you also dipped to that. You're wilding, dog.
Yeah,
you can't do that, man.
You cannot do that.
How many times have you been in a situation where you're like a friend or whatever, or like our practice, and then like they get into some altercation with the coach and just walk off the field? I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, we're still here practicing. Get back over here. Don't be. You look at that person like they're so mature. Like he's tripping. Like like you can't do that, man. You're 38-year-old veteran and a leader. You cannot be doing that at all.
Yeah. He talked about before this season, he felt like the club wanted him out. That they were, like he said, he felt betrayed. He didn't get into a lot of details in that regard, but he said that he felt like some of the higher ups wanted him to leave. He talked about the Glazers. He said that he doesn't think they care about the club. And I feel like literally every match, there's like some Glazers out sign or flag, if not more than one.
Yeah.
Piers asked him if he's ever talked to the Glazers. He said, never in my life, which I thought was shocking too.
Yeah. Not
Um,
even
I bet
a
you
hey.
Cavani's talked to the Glazers.
you know who I bet they
Cavani would
talked.
too sell out.
Well, you know who I bet they've talked to because they also own the Bucks. I'm sure they talked to Tom Brady before.
Oh yeah, they definitely talked to Tom Brady. Yeah,
They
yeah.
probably talked to Antonio Brown.
Probably text Tom Brady.
Right. Um, he's like Piers was asking him, what's going to happen after the World Cup with Man U. He said like he doesn't know, but and then he kind of mentioned that his decision to even go to Man U was more emotional than rational, but he thinks it was a good idea ultimately.
Hmm.
So there was a lot there in that part, but I don't know what you guys thought about him saying he feels betrayed by the club and like they didn't even want him there. Like I don't know what you guys thought about that.
Um, I mean, like that's stuff that we can't really know, I think. Like that's all hard to kind of assess if you don't really know everything. I mean, I'll agree with him. I think everyone knows that the Glazers they don't care. They're just
You agree with
a
that
mess.
too?
Yeah, absolutely. They're just, they know nothing about the sport. They don't put anything into it like in that sense, in that regard. Like, they don't have knowledge about it. They're just, rich businessmen, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
So, I and like there's so much controversy with them, like Caesar said earlier in the show, like, all that talk about them pocketing money, not putting much back into it. Like they always say United are in debt. It's like how? Like how can that really be possible? Like who knows what's going on? But the betrayal thing, like I don't know. Is it really the whole, like is it really all of Manchester United as a whole club versus Ronaldo? Like why would he
I
come
doubt
back?
it. I doubt
Like
it.
why would he come back then? So I don't really think that's, but who knows? Who knows?
I think it was extreme for him to say that. Um, yeah, like when he says like, "Oh, they've been wanting me out since last year," I'm like, that could be the case, but it's like you're able to act on it. You had an off season, you know what I mean? Like if you're talking about it was an emotional decision to go to Real Manchester United, then it's also an emotional decision to stay. It's like it seems like you're wilding out right now with these emotional decisions right now. It seems like you're losing the cusp of everything that's about your professionalism when everything you're doing is emotion based. So it's like you gotta get back on the horse and just get back on track because this is not the way it's supposed to be going down. And yeah, the Blazers thing, everybody knows it. Every real fan knows the Blazers are whack. The Glazers are whack. Everybody knows.
Nike
Everybody
Blazers.
have seen. Yeah, everybody's seen from their purchases to the players they've gotten to like the moves they made. It's like all about however they can maximize the income. And if none of that's going back to infrastructure, yet they're consistently valued as one of the most expensive clubs, my friend, that smells of corruption to me. I'm sorry, because the money, they always say the money got to go somewhere. The money's got to be going somewhere. And if it's not going back in players and changing the club up, then we already know what the deal is. So yeah, this interview was made to be like it was gonna be like this AK firing on everybody when the takeaways I kind of had it was just like it just seems like Ronaldo's been spending the last year and a half making a lot of emotional decisions. I'm like, damn, dog, like it's a lot really affecting your mind with this toxic work environment. And you got to switch that up ASAP.
He mentioned that. Well, Piers mentioned too that he got offered a 350 million euro deal from a team in Saudi Arabia, but he rejected it. But he did kind of say like for now or something like that. So I don't know if he's looking to go there next
Where's
time.
going next, dog? He's going to be
Yeah,
playing with Talisca.
right. Um, but he said that. So this was kind of the big thing before this season. All the talk, like every day, was like Ronaldo wants to leave. Ronaldo wants to leave. He can't wait to leave. He's absolutely gonna leave. And for me, it always felt like he wasn't gonna leave. And he mentioned that. He said that there weren't a lot of teams that wanted him, but there were some. Not even including the team in Saudi Arabia. But he said like there were offers, unlike the media said, because when he didn't leave, they started saying, "Oh, nobody wanted him."
It was really that was really confusing reporting. Remember, it was like, "Oh, Atletico really wants him," and then they was like, "Oh, they actually never wanted him." I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
and like
You
Napoli,
just reported that they did. I don't. What's going on here?
and that for me was like kind of like the bullying thing. It's like, dude, like you're just making stuff up, and then when your thing doesn't come true, you just like make something up else that's like negative too. Like I like there's no player that I like hate enough that I want to just like say whatever bad I can about them, no matter what. And it felt like before the season they were doing that. He did have some offers, according to him. There wasn't a whole lot, which you wouldn't expect like every club to be coming for him.
Yeah.
But he wanted to stay at Man U to make Holly mad.
Yeah, I know he has
Probably.
vendetta against Holly, and that's
Yeah.
fine. They can have their war. But you know, with that situation, it was like I think that what's one of the more annoying things is you could tell Ronaldo's been like brain broken from so much media stuff.
Yeah.
Is that like I think that that's what makes a lot more sense to why he's putting people around him that I do not like. Because I'm like, yeah, when you're dealing with this media thing, he's becoming like the Tupac thing, the whole Tupac thing that you're talking about, Bam. So it's like the all eyes on me, because when you have that mentality, like it's hard to disseminate what's the proper path when it's like no matter what you do, it's like going crazy in the media. I think he a lot of people that care about the media like to say things like, I don't care what the media says. No, I'm pretty sure you do. And it sounds like it is affecting him a lot.
Mhm.
So I think it's lending him to have kind of the wrong people around him. But yeah, I would also expect, I didn't think that, I thought it was dumb when they said no teams want him. I'm just assuming it would be a small list because not a lot of clubs are in the financial situation that they were before COVID and even in time. So
And
he's
he's
an expensive
old.
player and he's
Yeah, and he's
older.
old.
It's like, why would you want to do that? Like, I can imagine a select few teams that would incorporate and want him, but I'm not expecting it to be 30 clubs, calling George Mendes on a regular about him. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not like he's Cavani. What were you gonna say, Holly?
Yeah, no, I mean, I I guess I do think he, maybe this is jumping ahead too, like should leave in January.
Oh, it looks like he's gonna.
Yeah, and you know, what's wrong with playing in Saudi Arabia for that shmoney?
Well, because someone like
Like
you is gonna criticize him for that. That's why.
that's true.
Oh, he's like, yeah, I would.
Yeah, yeah.
Told y'all he fell off.
But you notice how
But
like
realistically,
you notice how the talk about Messi going to PSG. Nobody talk about that being for money.
That was big
But
money,
for
man.
sure, if Ronaldo went to Saudi Arabia, they're gonna be like, "See, he just won all the money."
yeah. No, I agree with that. Like I guess there really is like a double standard when it comes to Ronaldo, especially when if you're putting
Ooh.
putting him beside Messi. Like there's a lot more negativity that always goes to Ronaldo's as opposed to Messi, but I still don't like him.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, I think it's easier to create and manufacture or like attack people that are vocal in comparison to Messi, who literally only speaks one language and he's 34.
Damn, dog. Damn, he ain't have to do him like that.
No, I'm just saying, like, Ronaldo's always access to, has multiple languages, always making comments. I never hear one Messi quote in a damn life. Like, I can't give you a Messi quote. You know what I mean?
Well, we saw Messi give that interview.
Yeah, in
with his
sandals. That's the one
flip-flops.
time he ever talked in his career when he was wearing his flip flops, outside.
They're probably Fila flip flops.
No, he was probably wearing Havaianas. You know what I'm saying? But but
Um,
no, yeah. Sorry.
well, speaking of, we'll get into the part about Messi in a second, but they talked about the World Cup a little bit. Piers asked him like how he feels about the political situation in regards to it. He was kind of saying, and I agreed, like it's over now. Like they're gonna play the World Cup. Like let's just talk about the football. Like they were saying, like if you were gonna talk about that, like that's before they get awarded the World Cup. They already got it. Let's just play. So Pierce like created a scenario of Argentina and Portugal in the final, and Ronaldo has already scored 2 goals. Messi scored 2 goals.
That
And
was
then
so
like
weird.
and then like the last minute, Ronaldo scores another goal for his hat trick. I thought it was really cute. Ronaldo was like, He was like, that's never going to happen. But he's like, at that point, I don't care who scores the goal. He's like, it could be the goalie. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's consistent with the Euros. I'm like, I don't really think he cares about getting a hat trick. I'm thinking he just wants to win
He
the
just
fucking
wants to
game.
win something.
He just
Yeah.
wants to win the World Cup, dog.
Yeah. But I thought that was funny. But
No.
he asked him about Messi, and he was very praiseworthy.
Hmm.
He said that it's almost like Messi is a teammate of his at this point because how they've been compared to each other. He said he's really nice, and they're always really respectful of each other. He said that they're not like friends like that, but then he said, like, Piers asked him if they've ever had dinner. He was like, no, but one day we will.
He even
And
said his wife is his girl is close to like them too because she's Argentinian also.
I
Like
think
they're cool
I
too.
think maybe
He was
Messi's
just saying there's an
wife might have.
affinity, whatever.
I think maybe like Messi's wife like sent her something after the baby passed.
Yeah. Yeah, he said that like he sees him as like a peer because the 16 years they've spent going against each other, and I thought that like remember that old video everybody loves them sitting together and stuff like that, and then being all chummy and stuff. Like, yeah, I never thought that they were like hate each other. I thought they were like pretty cool about it also. So I wasn't like tripping off of that, honestly.
Holly, did you think that was cute or?
Yeah, I definitely thought it was nice. I mean, when two like high profile, you know, very successful athletes, when they have like that, I would assume Messi has that same sort of respect. So when it's kind of like a mutual respect, it's nice to see. And like, yeah, you never really thought they were like rivals in the sense that they hate each other. It's just on paper. It's just, all the numbers that is what, separates them.
And they don't even like face each other on the field. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
that's one of the things,
They
like,
don't, yeah.
yeah, like they're literally on opposite side of the fields. They're doing their own thing. It's like not even like it's like he's over there doing that. I'm over here doing his back over here. It's not even like that.
If Messi and Sergio Ramos don't hate each other after all that,
then anything's I mean, literally, that's a great point. They're like buddies now.
Yeah, when Piers asked him, is Messi the best player he's ever seen play? And he said yes, but he said along with Zidane.
Well, I thought that was really gangster. That was cool. I don't know why. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Piers was doing that was the same time Piers did that little fanboy energy saying like, you're my number one. You're number one.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
Right. Are you getting your chops? Are you happy now? You licking your chops? You excited about this?
Ronaldo definitely said something that upset Holly when he said would he like for Arsenal to win the league? He's like, yeah, if not Man U, yeah, sure, Arsenal.
Okay, but he did the same thing for England. Like he was just clearly saying some bullshit out of his mouth. Like he's like, oh, if not Portugal, it'll be England who wins. Like, no,
they're not winning.
Neither of them are going to win the World Cup.
They got 4 players left on that team.
Yeah.
He mentioned that he wants to play 2 more years and retire, and then he said something that I know Caesar loved this part. He talked about his relationship with Jordan Peterson, another Canadian.
My God, dude.
He talked about like how he's like so intelligent and something else. Maybe there's a language barrier. Like maybe like he just don't really know.
I think there is.
He said he read his book.
He didn't read that book, yo.
He said he read his book. He's old. Of course he reads books.
He didn't read that dumbass book.
If he read that book, you know what though? I was very gross. I almost threw up 6 times when he was talking about that. And I was trying to like press the speed button, but I was watching in Premiere, so I couldn't fast forward it. I was like, I'm stuck watching this live, and I'm watching the stupid headlines that I Talk TV drops every 3 minutes. Like, right. This is abusive. Stop telling me Trump announces running every time.
NHS is suffering.
Yeah, this is rough right now. No, like. Yeah, so like when he said that, I'm like, first of all, like, of course, like you're of course a top level athlete is reading all of Jordan Peterson's conversations about like primal and alpha mentality, like all this garbage, disgusting, nonsensical, transphobic garbage that he puts out there. Ronaldo's gonna read in whatever he can read in English left and think, oh, this is dope. You know what I mean? Definitely, I'm gonna blame the country of Italy for this. Italy is the reason why he likes Jordan Peterson, because you destroyed this man's English. But also, it's red flag and trash. You like this man, and you're doubling down on props to him. And you said he read his book. This God.
I also
Ho-
saw a picture of
yeah.
both of them on Twitter.
Holly, do you know about Jordan Peterson like that out there in
To be
Canada?
honest, I had to Google him.
Okay.
Good. This man
So,
is a slime ball,
and I didn't get
disgusting
that far.
person.
Yeah, I
Horrible
was so
person.
shocked that he was Canadian.
Oh yeah, big Canadian, big time.
Edmonton.
His full name is Jordan Peterson Williams. So I don't know. Maybe you're no. I'm joking.
What they say is the Canadians that translate to like come to like America for success, we either get the best Canadians or the most worst Canadians of all time, and that's one of the list of the low level ones we get. Him, another right wing guy, the TV guy we always talk about. What's his name?
Steven Crowder.
Steven Crowder, another garbage Canadian. Why do we have him too? Go away.
And Ryan Reynolds. No, I'm joking.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. Mint Mobile, get out of here. Whatever. Cricket.
But yeah, that was pretty much the end of the interview. I'll say that for sure, this interview was blown way out of proportion. Like, it was like a bit more honest than most interviews from athletes, and it was more entertaining because generally athletes are really boring. He was being honest, but it wasn't like as it wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be at all. Like I could have not watched it. Like honestly, like it wasn't that crazy.
It wasn't
Yeah.
that nuts.
Like definitely, and I almost want to go back and listen to what the people in media were saying because they were for sure just like taking just sound bites and taking like quotes, which it's hard. Like people say, oh, it's out of context, but like for sure, I seen quotes. I'm like, that's so out of context and clickbaity. It's just not fair, dude. Like if you listen to the whole thing, when he's talking about not respecting Eric Ten Hag, he's saying that he doesn't feel respected by him. So that's a normal thing. Like nobody's like, yeah, if you don't feel respected by somebody, you're not gonna respect them back. You know what I mean? Like Caesar's disrespecting me, laughing at his phone, trying to change it up.
I'm going over 20 minutes just for the show. So don't
Caesar, you should have laughed.
No. So don't come at me again. Don't come at me again. Don't come at me. First of all, I'm going over 20 minutes for the culture right now. Don't come at me right now.
First of all, Caesar, you've left early before, so you could have.
Yeah, don't come at me.
You forgot.
I wanted the segment to finish because I care about the show and I care about Holly's time.
You forgot.
He's not gonna walk away like Ronaldo.
Yeah, I don't walk away like Ronaldo. I don't just walk off the pitch, dog. I stay.
Okay, well, what do you guys think? Like to wrap it up, what do you guys think of the interview as a whole?
I mean, like you said, very overrated or overhyped. We should say, like, because those first few clips that were released, you thought it was going to be some heat. Honestly, as terrible as Piers Morgan is, in a way, you got to credit him. We're at the time of recording, we are 3 days away, 2.5 days away from the World Cup. And this is what people are talking about, not the first match. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Way overhyped. Literally, it was like watching a movie trailer. It's like, oh yeah, like here we go. This movie's about to go off. And then you watch the movie, you're like, literally, you just showed me all the scenes that were good that were in a trailer. Like that's why I don't watch movie trailers. That's why I shouldn't have watched his stuff. I would have felt better seeing those points if I never knew about the trailers that came out for this. It wasn't that crazy. It almost felt like it was at the same level as when I way back in the day watched Ronaldo's movie. I just felt like it was kind of that same energy where he never really raises. It's kind of like making points I would expect him to make. He apologized for stuff. He didn't. Some things I thought he kind of skated a little bit away from, but it was like nothing crazy and what I expect from professional athletes. So it's like, yeah, I just think that he answered and said a lot more about upper management than a player who definitely would not, because I think younger players are scared and test their future. Obviously, he's in a twilight and he has a much more leveraging position to be able to do this, which is nice. But yeah, and I think that I think he's contractually saying like, oh, we'll see what happens. I just had a contract wise and like respect for like who his employer is. But I think for sure it's over. Like, yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, especially when the World Cup ends 3 days before the transfer window's open. Like, for sure something's going to go down where they're probably already negotiating right now as we speak. Who knows?
I'll say this. I'd rather him like Jordan Peterson than that documentary that Kyrie Irving posted.
Yeah. I feel like the standard is so much lower now because Kyrie Irving's a big fan of anti-Semitism and like Hitler books. So it's like, we're happy with, you liking Jordan Goofball Peterson. That's fine.
Yeah, Holly's cousin. Anyway, we made it